All right, so we're going to do some problems from section 9.3 in your book, page 535. So this has to do with fractions, decimals, percentages. And in some of the first few problems here, numbers 3 through 12, you are given this table with some of the values filled in, and you are asked to fill in the table the rest of the way. So sometimes you're given a fraction and you're asked for the decimal and the percent. Sometimes you're given a decimal and you're asked for the fraction and the percent. Sometimes you're given the percent and you're asked for the fraction and the decimal. So I'm going to do one of each kind. I'll do number 4 as a decimal. I'll do number 6 that has a fraction, and I'll do number 8 that has a percentage, and then you can do the rest once you see what's going on. So let's look at number 4. Number 4 gives us a decimal of 0.75. So for number 4, 0.75 is 75 parts out of 100, right? So we can write that as a fraction of 75 over 100, right? 75 parts over 100. Now, we can reduce that fraction, right? We always want to reduce the fraction when we can. So if we notice that 25 divides into each one of these numbers evenly, we can say 75 over 100 is equivalent to 3 over 4. And that's going to be the fraction part of our answer, 3 over 4. So reduce the fraction as much as possible. So I'm going to circle the values that we've added to the table. As soon as you see 75 out of 100, hopefully that leads you to what the percentage is, right? 75 over 100, or 0.75. Remember, a percent, think of the word percent. Per meaning part of, cent, think of century, is 100, right? So parts of 100. So we have 75 parts out of 100. Well, we know that's 75%. So that's going to be the answer over here, 75%. All right, so given a decimal, we changed it to a fraction, which led us to the reduced fraction and the percentage given there. All right, so number 6, we're given a fraction, and we're asked to find the decimal and the percentage. So 3/8, number 6, 3/8, well, just do that calculation in your calculator, right? 3 divided by 8. Every fraction is a division problem, right? So 3 divided by 8 gives us the decimal, right? So now we immediately have the decimal of 0.375. So for number 6, the decimal representation is 0.375. And we know what decimals are, right? This is the 10th place, this is the 100th place, this is the 1,000th place. So we can write this as 375 over 1,000. Well, we've come up with this, we want the percentage. So if it's 375 parts out of 1,000, we want the parts out of 100, right? So whatever we have to do to get that to be 100, we do the same thing to the numerator. So if it's 375 out of 1,000, that means it's 37.5 out of 100, right? If you divide this number by 10, you get 100. If you divide this number by 10, you get 37.5. And if you multiply the numerator and denominator of any fraction by the same value, you're not changing the value of that fraction, you're just changing the form of that fraction, right? Like if I have 1/2 and I multiply both numerator and denominator by 3, I end up with 3/6. But that's the same as what I started with, right? I didn't change the value of what I started with, I just changed the form of the fraction. So we have a fraction, once we get the decimal, we have a fraction with 1,000 in the denominator. Well, I want a fraction with 100 in the denominator. So I divide 1,000 by 10, and I have to divide the numerator also by 10. So I get 37.5%. right? So given a fraction, we just put that into our calculator to get the decimal. You can look at it this way, divide by 100 or by 10, and you get the parts out of 100, which gives you the percentage. Okay, so we did one where we were given the decimal, we did one where we were given the fraction. Let's go to number 8, where we're given the percentage. So number 8, we're given 56.25%. So we have 56.25 parts out of 100, right? 56.25 parts out of 100. And we need to find the fraction and the decimal. So the decimal, as soon as you have the percentage, all you have to do to find the decimal is move the decimal 2 spots to the left, right? 56.25% is going to be 0.5625, right? So percentages to decimals, move the decimal point 2 spots to the left. So 1, 2, we get 0.5625. And that's going to be our decimal representation, 0.5625. And just like we did in number 4, this is tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So we get 5,625 over 10,000 is the fraction, but we want to reduce that down. So let's notice that at least 25 divides into each one of these values evenly, right? So let's say 56.25 divided by 25 leaves us with 225, right? And 10,000 divided by 25 leaves us with 400. So we have a slightly smaller fraction, but we can still see there's common values here. So again, let's look at 25 again. So if I divide by 25, both numerator and denominator, I end up with this fraction. This is the same value as this. I keep reducing. Now 225 divided by 25 is 9. And 400 divided by 25 is going to be 32. Right? 16, sorry. 16 is going to be my fraction, right? 400 divided by 25 is 16. So that's going to be the fraction. 9 over 16. So we did that, and we did that. All right, so we did one where we were given the decimal, we found the fraction and the percent. We did one where we were given the fraction, we found the decimal and the percent. In number 8, we were given the percent, we changed to a decimal and the fraction. And of course, you can check that. Divide 9 by 16, and you should get 0.5625. And you can check the rest of them in a similar fashion. So we want to be able to change from one of these to any one of the others: fractions, decimals, and percents. Let's do one more question from this section. This is number 26. And it asks you, or tells you a little story here. U.S. auto sales increased from 16.5 million in 2014 to 17.5 million in 2015. And we want to find the percent increase from 2014 to 2015. So there's a couple ways you can think about this. You can take the difference between 16.5 and 17.5 million. All right, so 17.5 million minus 16.5 million leaves you with 1 million. That's the difference. And then you can say, well, what percentage of the original amount is that difference, is that increase? And that will give you your answer. So the percentage increase will be that 1 million over the 16.5 million. You put that into your calculator, 1 divided by 16.5, it gives you this decimal, get past this little dent in my board, gives you this decimal of 0.0606 and continues on that way 0.6. So if we round to say 2 decimals here, we can say it is around a 6% increase. About a 6% increase, or if you went to 2 decimals, you could say 6.1% increase. Let's see if it asks for a certain rounding here. Number 26 says round to the nearest 1/10 of a percent. So if we round to the nearest 1/10 of a percent, we get 6.1% increase. Now, another way to look at this is just to take the 17.5 million and divide by the 16.5 million. If you do that, you're going to get 1.060606, repeating in that way. And the extra part over 1 is the increase, right? This is 17.5 is 100% of this plus 6.1%. So you end up with the same increase, right? This is the difference here. If you take the difference and divide by the original amount, you're just getting the percent increase. If you do this way, you're getting 1, and then the extra over 1 is going to be the percent increase. So either way, you get an answer of 6.1%. All right, so that is 9.3, ratios, proportions, percentages.